most of you, I'm going to keep it simple. Most of you heard about this by email, raise your hand. All right. And any other form? Posters?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Any posters? I heard from Sue. Okay, word of mouth. Raise your hand. No? Yeah. Okay, so mostly email. Good, thanks. So my name is Kelly Warner. For those of you who don't know me, I work in the engineering department with Joanne Panzardi. Part-time as an engineering instructor, and then I work full-time on the STEM grant, Science, Technology, Engineering, Math grant. And I work with a team. One of them is here with us, Kate Disney. And in a second, I'll ask all the staff counselors, if you wouldn't mind, and any other faculty that are here, to go ahead and stand up and introduce themselves briefly, just so that the students in the room know your faces, because as Christine mentioned, who's our guest, and I'll introduce her in a second, you might be having follow-up with some of the counselors in the room, so it's good that you see their faces and know who they are. So just, you know why you're here. This is great. I'm glad most of you signed up on the sign-in sheet or the survey monkey that Joanne sent out and that Sue sent out. So this is our second STEM Friday colloquia of the semester. We thought it'd be a great idea after Joanne and Kate came back from a conference where they listened to our guest speaker, Christine B., who's a Mesa director and a STEM counselor at Allen Hancock. And Allen Hancock is a community college that's about 30 miles south of San Luis Obispo. She has great history with students that have been accepted to San Luis Obispo. So good that Joanne wanted to call her up and say, Christine, please come and talk to our students and help us. So we're hoping to glean as much information that we can from her. For those of you who are walking in, there's handouts in the corner, back corner here, and there's still some computers open. There's one there, and there's two here. So before turning it over to Christine, can I just ask that any staff or counselors just mention their name and their title?
Okay. My name is Kate Disney, and I also work in the engineering department with Joanne Panzardi and Kelly Horner. And I'm also working on the STEM grant here at Cabrillo, and I'm the articulation and transfer specialist. So well, we do have handouts for this presentation. So did everyone get one of these? Okay. Yeah, so I'll just pass a few down this way if you guys would pass them down. So I think this is going to be really helpful if you're going to be applying to Cal Poly, and Christine's going to be explaining this, and her presentation that you see up there is in here as well. So that's all I'm going to say.
Any other counselors? I think you guys are kind of all congregated in the corner there. If you want to go ahead and stand up and just with your name and...
I'm Marcy Wald. I'm one of the general counselors here, and I'm one of the designated honors counselors.
I'm Janelle Blom, and I'm just one of the general counselors.
I'm Hannah Zagorska, counselor.
Good morning, I'm Veronica Leon, counselor with EOPS and CARE.
Good morning, I'm Michelle Forget Mendoza, counselor, general counselor, and Fuente counselor.
I'm an adjunct counselor right now in the Accessibility Support Center. I'm just being a basic counselor, and I'm hoping to be involved with something soon.
And your name is
Peggy Church.
Peggy Church. Great. Okay, nice to meet you. All right. One last little housekeeping. The inevitable cited sheet. So if you will, I know you guys signed up with the Survey Monkey, but please go ahead and again state your name and your email and write legibly, please. And then go ahead and check the box that you're here for the appropriate colloquia. And I'll start up here. And then I'll turn things over to Christine. Thanks again for coming, Christine.
I think Atlantis is changed.
What is
Going from Atlantis is changed.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. I got to travel up last night to your beautiful area and spend the evening here with some family, and I'm really happy to be here and help you understand this process that is unique to all of the CSUs in the state. And I wanted to Kate said you guys have a packet. I want to make sure you know what's in the packet. We'll be getting to each of these documents. But in the back document is my PowerPoint presentation. So you can follow along by starting on that page. A little bit about me and a little disclaimer. First of all, I want to make sure you know I do not work for Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I'm not an admissions representative. I've worked for the California Community College System at Allen Hancock College for 20 years. For the first 13 years of my career, I was a transfer center director and the lead transfer counselor for our campus. And during that time, I was also married to the transfer center director at Cuesta College. So we spent a lot of time understanding and trying to build a system during that time period that really worked for increasing our chances of our students getting accepted to Cal Poly. So we spent a lot of time in conference with Cal Poly admissions directors, and understanding their process and what they were developing, and trying to develop tools on our campus and systems that we put our students through to maximize their chances. And now Hancock's actually got the highest acceptance rate to San Luis Obispo. Almost 60% of our students that apply are admitted to San Luis Obispo, and then Cuesta's in the 40, 50s, somewhere like that. But they send more numbers, but we of the students that apply, we have almost 60% of our students being admitted. And it's strictly because of the system that we've integrated into our campus. And so when Joanne asked me to come up here and speak, I am, my main topic right today is to help you understand the Cal Poly process a little bit and how the application relates to maximizing your chances of getting in to that campus. Let me just make sure, yeah. Oh, and then for the last 8 years, I've been serving as the MESA director, and so I've worked specifically just with STEM students. So I've been able to kind of tweak what I do for just the STEM area. Today, what I want to talk about is an overview of the STEM educational planning process. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on this. I'm assuming, are all of you in this room are you within your last year at the community college? Some of you aren't. Some of you aren't within your last year? Is that right? Okay, that's good. Because then I will spend some time understanding what you should be doing in your educational planning now if Cal Poly is on your list and if you're serious about going there for a STEM major. And I'm also going to explain how the Cal Poly application differs from all the other CSUs. And then we're going to do an overview of the Cal Poly application process, and hopefully any questions that you have we can answer. My goal is, and Joanna's asked me to try and get through the presentation within 40 minutes, and then allow for another 40, 45 minutes for you if you want to bring up the computers, start and have questions as you're working through completing the supplemental application on the Cal Poly application, and have us look and see if there's things that we can do to help, okay? All right, so some educational tools. Cal Poly differs from a lot of CSUs in that we can't just rely on ASSIST to do our planning for us. How many of you are familiar with ASSIST? Okay, excellent. ASSIST is an articulation website. It is a state-supported website. It basically lists course equivalencies from whatever community college you're attending to whatever UC or CSU you'd like to go to for your major. That's the goal. So it lists the courses that are equivalent at lower division level, which is your junior, senior level, that are required for graduation at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo or any other campus you're looking at. The key word there is graduation. These are courses equivalent that you need in order to get your bachelor's degree from Cal Poly, okay? So you take a class here, it transfers there, you don't have to take it there. There is a big difference between articulation for graduation purposes and what they're looking for admissions in selection. I shouldn't say a big difference because there's a lot of crossover. But you can't just rely on ASSIST for admissions information to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. You need to incorporate other tools. And Cal Poly has this great tool, the transfer selection criteria. How many are you familiar with their transfer selection criteria? Good. I'm going to show it to you. Go here. Give me a major.
Mechanical.
Excellent. That's a really good example. Okay. How many of you seen a list like this? Okay, this is a website and list that I use every single day in my counseling. Cal Poly admits based on 4 criteria that they're looking for. One is the GPA, one is GE completion, the other is extracurricular work activities, and the other is major coursework that they're specifically looking for. This is something that cannot be underutilized enough in your preparation process. So if you're interested in mechanical engineering or any other major, you go onto the website, you're familiar with this, you utilize this tool in relationship with Assist to find out what classes here at Cabrillo match up with the classes that they're looking for here. And this is your priority of course completion. Does that make sense? Okay. So for engineering mechanical, they're looking for the English composition, speech, the calculus series, the physics series, and the chemistry series. Then you go down to the major related, and even though it says desired, we happen to know that for most majors it's so competitive that if you don't have the desired coursework, your chances of getting in are compromised. So you should be focused on also getting the desired coursework done. So for mechanical engineering, that's going to be the engineering and the statics, or excuse me, the materials engineering and the statics, computer programming, and electrical circuits. Okay. Hi, Sue. Okay, now, many campuses have also developed a transfer guide. You have one that Cabrillo has put together. It's in your packet, just a page behind the PowerPoint presentation, and it looks like this. This is also an important document. At Hancock, we have what's called our transfer pathways. So students utilize Assist, matched up with the transfer selection criteria, matched up with the transfer guide. And we make decisions on our educational planning based on those things of how we're going to spend our time in our classes. What's going to be our focus. Okay. So strategies while you're working on your course completion. Defining your major is very important at Cal Poly because they admit by major and they compete by major, and it's very difficult to switch majors once you get there. So definitely defining your major early on, especially if you're going to be a STEM major, because there's so much course sequencing that you need to complete prior to transfer that you can spend a lot of time in community college if you're not defining that major early on. And then developing your plan using those tools, including the CSU GE pattern or the IGETC. We also know that for STEM majors, the GE areas are not as heavily weighted through the admissions process as the course completion and the GPA. So with my students, GE is minimized for STEM majors, I have to say, only for STEM majors.
Does that mean that once they get there, they do have to complete all the lower division GEs?
It means that they do complete lower division general education, yeah. And what we hear is that students would rather do it that way, and the advising staff up there says that they'd rather do it that way so that they have balance in their course and their courses throughout each term, so they can mix in general ed as they finish up. Yeah. Most of they want to, so they're not just all doing major courses while they're up there, that they have GE that they're finishing up.
How many semesters would it be if you finished all your general education programs?
I will tell you that Okay, again, I'm not a Cal Poly representative, and I don't advise at upper division level, but what I can tell you is that our students come back to for mechanical engineering, most of them are graduating within 2 years after that they transfer. Yeah. Good question. But even if they don't finish their GE, they're still graduating within 2 years because they're taking it throughout their terms.
So in your experience, even though you guys minimize the GE, do you find that students that complete that still have a better
Chance of getting in? Okay, so that's a really good question too. That is where it's a professional judgment call based on GPA versus GE, right? So if I have a lower GPA, I may say, you know what, you've only got like 3 or 4 classes left to completing your GE. It would be good for you to complete it to get a little more bonus points in the admissions process. But if I have a student who is, you know, a strong GPA and maybe is missing 5, 6, 7 classes, I'm not going to keep them at the community college. I'm going to send them, I'm going to make them, you know, go ahead and apply and finish it up there. Does that help? Yeah, okay.